Theo Grady, a black wheelchair user with blue glasses and a salt and pepper beard, drives home and enters his house. Then, he works from a laptop.
Home and community-based services are those programs and services that are designed to ensure a person with disability can live within the community with adequate support services.
Theo, the executive director of NICL, the National Council of Independent Living.
And to ensure that they don't become institutionalized.
Text on screen, Olmstead Decision, 1999, with the newspaper article in the background. Zoom in on a quote, locking people in institutions when they could benefit by being in the community was struck down. Another article on screen, ruling helps break institutional walls.
The Olmstead decision was a Supreme Court decision that said this was a right, and every state was required to implement certain services.
Theo's personal care attendant, a white woman, transfers him to his wheelchair and helps him get ready, handing him a rag to wipe his face. Various news articles about states' lack of funding for HCBS.
We still see states now still not implementing what the Supreme Court decision said to do. When it comes to the decision-maker in power, disability is not a priority.
Dissolved to frame family photos sitting on a dresser among baseball memorabilia. Trevor Van Nett is a bearded white man with cerebral palsy.
I'm Trevor Van Nett. I'm from Bismarck, North Dakota.
Trevor gets transferred to his wheelchair with a lifting device and support from his personal care attendant, who is a black man.
My caregiver and we have a great relationship.
Another caregiver feeds Trevor lunch. Trevor.
They assist me every day in getting out of my bed and helping me with feeding, dressing, toileting, and my physical therapy as well.
Trevor stretching and doing PT. Then Trevor being fed a drink by his caregiver.
I've been working with them for 10 years. I receive services from the state's DD waiver. If I couldn't get the services at home, I would probably be in a nursing home. That's what the waiver allows me to do.
Stylized image of Trevor in the middle of a graphic with an arrow that moves to show the pipeline to institutionalization without a waiver.
Medicaid will pay for services in an institution, but a waiver is basically allowing you to waive the federal requirements of living in an institution and have those same supports that you get in an institutionalized setting you can get in the community. The problem is, each state has a certain amount of waivers. And when that money is spent, people go on waiting lists. And unfortunately, while waiting for waivers, people can also go back into an institution.
Text on screen as Theo reads it aloud.
As of 2023, over 692,000 people are on HCBS wait lists across the country.
Fade back to Theo.
Been trying to transition people out of those institutions, but no one wanted to believe that those facilities were havens for mistreatment and violence.
Various news articles about COVID in nursing homes slide on screen from all sides before zooming in on a New York Times article. Nearly 1/3 of U.S. coronavirus deaths are linked to nursing homes, then fading out.
But COVID-19 made it clear those individuals who couldn't leave these congregate settings, they just put them all together and let COVID spread, and they died.
Trevor.
During COVID, I fared better here than I would there. I'm in my own apartment. I can do what I want to do. It lets me have dignity and independence.
Trevor drives his wheelchair down the hallway independently and leaves his apartment.
Computer, turn off intro and light.
Okay. I make all the decisions.
Text and graphics on screen from the National Council on Disability. Average annual cost per state, showing HCBS is tens of thousands of dollars cheaper than an institution.
There's been studies that people with disabilities that live in the community save the state money.
Trevor using paratransit, then eating at a sit-down restaurant.
It saves them money and it lets you live an independent life. Another issue that we are having. There is a lack of care workers, and I'll tell you, it is bad.
Trevor back at home, his caregiver brushes his teeth.
We have situations where staff have to double up. We have clients that There are waiting lists. These staff are underpaid.
Theo at home. His caregiver helps him put toothpaste on his toothbrush. Tiffany Wynn, a white person with blonde hair and blue eyes. She's Theo's caregiver.
I'm Tiffany Wynn. I live in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm an in-home healthcare worker.
Theo brushing his teeth.
I can work from anywhere from 10 hours a day to 14 hours a day to 18 hours a day.
Tiffany gives Theo his coffee while she buttons the sleeves on his shirt. Then Theo.
But I try to let no patient unattended. That's not me. Wouldn't want it to be my mother or father laying in bed.
We need to increase the wages. People can go to McDonald's and get more.
Trevor using paratransit. Then Trevor crossing the street.
I go to a lot of meetings and advocate for people with disabilities. I advocate for them.
Trevor at home. Then Theo.
This is how I live. This is the way I want to live for the rest of my life because it's the best for me.
We definitely need those decision makers to recognize that we need more funding. We need more funding for attendant care, direct care workers.
Trevor at City Hall, speaking next to a lectern in his wheelchair into a lowered microphone while local officials listen.
We need more funding to increase waivers and get people off the waiting list and keep people living in an integrated setting in the community.
We need more funding for HCBS no matter what. This is not optional, this is mandatory.
Text on screen. Support home and community-based services for people with disabilities. Learn more at North Dakota Protection and Advocacy Project by calling 1-800-472-2670 or by visiting ndpanda.org. North Dakota Protection and Advocacy Project logo. A large blue serif P and A in between two crescent shapes at opposite diagonals. Underneath, text that says Disability Rights North Dakota.